Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of With Conviction. This is the debut actual play for a new TTRPG by the name of, well, Conviction, as the name might imply. My name is Rain, and I will be your GM for this adventure. I'm here with my unsuspecting heroes as we begin a story of hope, horror, and history. Why don't you two introduce yourselves and we can get started?
Okay. I guess I'll go first. I'm Alice. I'm going to be playing Desdemona. Everyone calls her Des because it's an obnoxiously long name. So I'm Des.
And I'm Skylin. My pronouns are they and them. I will be playing Kris, who mostly goes by she pronouns, and we'll see if things shift around. But Kris is a bit of a firecracker, and hopefully that'll show up soon.
Oh yeah, should we all give our pronouns?
Fine.
Pronouns.
Pronouns. Uh
Pronouns. Pronouns.
Okay, yes, that means I have to re record everything.
No, it doesn't.
no, it
It's-
doesn't. So my pronouns, she and they.
And my pronouns are she, her.
All right, Coach, let's go.
And that rings out across the court as we see Kris alongside her team start to fan out onto a volleyball court. It's indoors, and you can hear the squeak of shoes as everyone takes their positions. And your coach lines up to judge this scrimmage. And he lifts his hand. 3, 2, 1, go. And you start your match. How does that go?
Hey, Morgan, toss me the ball, would ya? I think Kris gets the first serve, and that goes swimmingly. She puts it. If you think about the volleyball court, you've got the net, we've got the two rows, and she's going to place it right in between those two rows with hopes that it's a difficult enough placement that her teammates will have to scramble and practice some of their good dives to go get it.
Yep. And they are able to do that pretty quickly. It takes some quick thinking, but Aiden is able to jump in, catch that, and set it up. This goes back and forth, back and forth. When is the first shot that you mess up?
It's on the third serve. It's meant to go really shallow to the net. One of those that just like glances on the net and then rolls down, so that it's almost at the center line. And instead of rolling down on the opposite side, it rolls down on our side.
Somebody just wasn't there to get it in time. It's interesting. It feels like you missed a beat, but looking around, you know that everyone is on their game. So, not sure what happened there.
I think Kris takes a moment and looks at it and goes, just needed a little bit more power. Because if she had given it just that little bit more power, that serve would have gone over and it would have been placed right. It just had the wrong spin to it and just not quite enough power to it. Because nobody from the other side had moved. They didn't need to.
Yep. And the sound of the court reminds you of the forest. Tell me a little bit about what the court sounds like to you and how that plays into how you play.
The squeaking of shoes on the wood sounds an awful lot like the squirrels that skitter up and down the trees in the nearby forests. There are mice and voles and other such things that skitter across the ground in the rustling of fall leaves that are probably left over from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago at this point. Nobody rakes in the forest, but as Kris herself dives, flat hand pancake to the ground, just barely catching a spike that Morgan had perfectly placed, the scent of dry and rotting leaves comes to mind for absolutely no known reason, except that it's a love of both the forest floor and the hard lamination of the court.
How does Kris react the second time that her team misses a beat?
This is only the second time, so we aren't in desperation mode yet, and it's a scrimmage anyway, so we're not too worried about making sure it's perfect. This time, Kris, she's getting excited, she's pointing it out, she's just about at the excited fever pitch of pumping everybody up, and Morgan just gives her a look. And she goes, okay, right. All right, team, come here. She brings them all together, and they talk it out. What was it that happened? Is there anything that they can see to fix immediately, or is this something that needs to be drilled?
Aiden's just like, I don't know. I thought everyone was where they needed to be. I know I was moving in time. There's a round of nods. Seems like everyone's doing everything the way that they had drilled, and there's just something off. Maybe it's an off day.
Well, off days happen. Um, but let's set up and just do a round of serves for everybody. So I'll start, and Morgan, you start on the other side. We'll take turns side to side, and we'll do one serve and rotate. So that'll be 12 serves total. And just let them land. And then we'll pause and see if we want to do it some more. And then after a little bit, she looks to coach for a second.
He nods.
If that's not going quite the way we want it, then we'll do something else. But if it's going fine, then we'll start to put motion back into it.
All right. You set up to do that, and a couple of serves go back and forth. So far, everyone's doing pretty well. You've drilled this pretty much every day, and they seem to be landing the way that they should.
All right, folks, that's round one done. That's looking good. Let's put motion back into it. Let's just catch the serves, not catch as in like catch it and hold it. I mean get a pass up for a set and then spike, but we're gonna skip the setting and spiking part. We're just getting that first pass down. All right, let's talk it up.
All right, and they all jog back onto the court, and the ball starts moving again. Do you want to make a check to see if you can figure out what's missing, or do you want to just keep with the practicing?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to have Kris. Yeah, she's the most skilled server on the team. But what I'd like to have her do is to place the ball where it's supposed to go, as in, she's trying to place it just so that one particular teammate can get a good pass, well within the range that's more than reachable. It's clearly going to one person, and just see what happens.
All right, go ahead and roll 2d6 and add your custom skill place, which I believe you have at a +2.
Yeah. 5 on the dice, +2 is 7.
All right. Yeah, it goes where it needs to, and Veronica's able to catch is the wrong word, but able to pick it up and keep it moving. But no, everything looks like it's moving the way it should. The ball keeps moving, it gets served back to your side.
Okay, so at this point, since we're in this serve and rotate, we're going to rotate one, and Kris is going to ask the next server to try to place it right in the spot that's like, of the 6, you pick 4 of them and pick the spot that's right in the middle of the 4 of them, so it's a little bit difficult for them to communicate. So there has to be like a clear call on that side. In this ask, I'd like to roll charm.
Okay. Charm. Do you have something that's more leadership oriented?
No.
Hmm.
Place is the best one that I've got, but we talked about that being mostly fight oriented. I don't see that as a
Yeah.
personnel kind of thing.
Yeah. Charm seems like it's more getting people to like you, persuading them. So I think this might just be a flat roll.
Okay. Another 2d6.
Yes.
That is 3 on the dice. Yay!
Oof.
That is our first full failure, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Uh, well, we're getting them out of the way. So you let them know, and they set up the shot, but unfortunately, I think they just got the impression that you were telling them in a general place to put it. And so it's a little off to one side where it's very clearly in a specific person's space. And they're able to it's a bit slow. It's a near thing, but they're able to bring it back.
Okay, so that's probably very normal for a volleyball thing. Is there anything else that might hint at something being weird?
Not that you can see.
Okay. So in that case, I think the practice probably just continues with escalating additions of new things. Is there anything else that happens in the course of practice that feels weird?
I'm curious, how does Kris react to this very persistent glitch in the system?
Honestly, she just passes it off as a weird day. Like, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you've got a weird practice and you just shake it off and move on.
That's fair. I think it's not until after the practice when you're all cooling down. By this time, it's well into the evening. The sun is starting to set outside. And as you're packing up, you hear your phone buzz.
Kris looks at it.
It's from a number you don't
It's a
recognize.
call or a text.
It's a text.
She squints and opens it. Lots of spam these days.
It just says, "Hey, can you meet me tonight?" And looking at it, you notice there's a text history between you two.
She scrolls up.
It's a lot of back and forth, normal stuff. Apparently, you were discussing some things related to the volleyball team, but you don't remember any of this. You don't recognize this number.
She sends a text that reads, "Hey, I'm busy tonight. Did I lose your number or something?"
It takes a minute. Follows up with IDK question mark, and then it's kind of important.
The next text reads, "Look, I hate to do this, but can you give me a name?"
Hazel?
Okay, I don't have the team roster in front of me. Is this a person that is on my list or no?
You don't recognize the name.
Okay. Okay, Hazel, reads the next text. Is this a drag name or something? Or did you pick a new name? Do you have a name that I might know you by? I really hate to ask. I know dead names are rough.
No. Hazel Glass. You're pulling my leg.
I wish I was.
Can we just please?
This was on the way out of practice. Okay.
Yes.
I think Kris takes a minute and sits down on a bench by one of those blue lights on campus. She's having an internal conversation here, sort of a fight between the rationality of, well, okay, so there's a text history here. I don't know this name. Maybe this person is pulling my leg. And, like, if not for the text history, She would have just blocked this person and moved on with her day, like half an hour ago or immediately as soon as that text came in. But behind the image of her drag mother literally waving a red flag in front of her face, telling her that clearly this person is being weird and strange, just block and ignore, there's this nugget of curiosity of, yes, but not enough of these pieces make sense. Or there's just enough here to make this worth looking at. She shoots a text to Jessie. It reads, "Hey Jessie, I'm getting some weird texts from a Hazel Glass. Period. Do you know that name?
Pretty quick response. Nope.
This Hazel person is asking me to meet up with them. Okay, I know this sounds weird, but apparently we have a very long text history, and Hazel is not pulling my leg somehow, or is, or thinks I'm pulling Hazel's leg. I don't." She stops and just sends the message like that, and then takes screenshots and sends them over to Jessie. "What do you make of this?"
Well, the first response is weird. You gonna go?
"I was hoping you would tell me not to.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious. You want me to come with?
Please."
All right.
She shoots a text off to Hazel asking when and where, and shares all of that relevant information with Jessie.
Yep, it's a park not too far away. The time looks like you might have an hour 15 until you need to be there. Enough time to get yourself put together.
Okay, so she probably takes a little bit of a moment to change out of workout clothes into. It's a park, so she'll probably put on her park rangery volunteer get up, which is some windbreakers and a plain scoop neck tee.
It's definitely more of like a walking and sports kind of park. There's a couple of baseball diamonds and off-roading track there.
Okay, she grabs a sweatshirt too, and then heads over.
It's later in the year. The summer is starting to end, so it is definitely starting to get a little bit colder. But speaking of clothing, Des, as you are walking into this place where your friend is doing their gig tonight, what are you wearing?
Let's see. So it'd definitely be like the oversized, some kind of long black band t-shirt and black torn up jeans. Not heavy makeup because I don't think Des is super confident in her makeup yet, but hair also dyed black and naturally slouching a little bit.
Of course, of course. You can't look like you care.
Exactly.
So it's actually a reasonably busy place. It's not like standing room only, but it is somewhat crowded. It's a small place. You've got three folks up on stage. They seem to be missing a bassist, interestingly, but I they seem to be okay with it. They have some kind of plan as they get their music started. What are you doing?
Let's see. How would she be reacting? I think Des would be in the back. There's this vibe at particularly like smaller concerts that like the real fans of the music are closer to the back because they're there just to hear the music. They're not hyped about the people in the band. It
Naturally.
would be ridiculous. But so yeah, I think she's like leaned up against a wall in the back, arms crossed, nodding along to the music.
Yeah. And it's definitely they could probably do better with a bassist than without, but they're managing. Seems like they've thought about it a bit. And you are here for the music. It's not like you know anyone on stage or anything.
I think Des would know a few people in the crowd, but she's there for the music for sure.
Yeah. Do you catch up conversation with anyone?
Oh God, no, no. Like she's absolutely like a oh haha, I'm totally a background character. She knows lots of people, but she tries to be pretty low key about it.
Yeah, you can see people getting more into it. There's one or two other folks in the back who are quieter. You see a redhead sort of pushing through the crowd, going somewhere, and there's a good energy getting started. You,
Hmm.
why are you here?
Hmm. What would be?
You scheduled this.
Yeah, let
This
me
was
let me
on your
know if this
calendar.
let me know if this steps on your toes. I I think maybe she was here to support the missing bassist.
Who? They don't have a bassist.
Yeah, you said they're missing a bassist.
Mm-hmm.
You meant it as
Uh-huh.
in the band straight up doesn't have
I'm
one.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay. Okay, so
That strange question. That question starts sitting in your head. Why are you here?
so if I try to focus in on that, does it sort of like slip away from me or
Not particularly. You're just a little confused. I mean, you scheduled this. You made a promise to be here, but why'd you promise to be here? It's not like I mean, you know a couple people in the crowd, but you didn't promise them.
right. Yeah, I think she would be still going like, "Oh, yeah, the music's pretty good." But she has a bad memory normally. So I think to a degree she is going, "Well, I don't know why I promised to be here or who I promised to be here, but I sure hope they don't ask me and that I didn't commit to other stuff. I certainly don't remember." So maybe a little more unsettled than she was when she got here, but primarily from a uh-oh, what else did I forget sort of way.
Does that show on your face at all?
I think the hair, I think with between the slouch and the like nodding along to the music, I think the hair is partially covering up my facial expression.
Yeah, so nobody notices that look of consternation on your face. It's just like, hmm, that's not right. But I think more people start to catch on that the music is a bit off. And it kind of goes like that for a little while. But the gig does actually end a little bit sooner than it was scheduled to. And you can see the musicians retire off stage with perhaps a little bit less energy than they started with.
Okay. Hmm. Would I know the stage hands, like the stage manager and that kind of thing?
I don't know. How often do you come here? Is that something you want to roll for?
Sure.
Do you have any relevant skills?
That's a great question. I am not certain. I don't think I do. So I think I'll just do a straight roll for now.
All right.
Let's see if you guys can hear my dice.
Very faintly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, great news. I got a 5.
Unfortunately, no. This place, you've been here a few times, but certainly not enough to know any of the people who work here.
Okay. Then Des is definitely like worried about the band members, but isn't going to be trying to like push into the back.
Yeah. And about this time, your phone buzzes.
Okay. I'm always down to look at my phone instead of looking around in the social situation. What what notification is it?
Well, you just got a message from a number you don't recognize. But the more concerning part to you is that the last text that you sent to this number was, "I'll be there."
Okay. So this is maybe who I
Uh-huh.
promised I would be here for. Okay, Is there anything in the text chat history that suggests why or who?
Well, scrolling through the history, apparently this person's name is Hazel, and you talk about music stuff a lot. From the sound of it, this person is very excited about a gig that's coming up, and they have very high hopes for it. Except for this most recent message, where sound kind of worried. It's like, "Hey, can we talk in person?"
And that's after that is when the response was I'll be there.
This is the most recent text that you've gotten, the one that
Oh,
just
okay.
arrived.
Gotcha. Then yeah, response would be like, sure, what's up?
It's complicated. Can you come to the park tonight? She sends you an address and a time.
Okay, what's the time?
Like 8, which is maybe 30 minutes from now.
Okay. Then I think Des would would just be like, yeah, no no other questions. The show seems to have petered out much sooner than she was expecting, so I think she is down to help someone who is asking for it.
Yep. So you it's a bit of a hike to the park, but thankfully it's a fairly big park. It's not hard to get there. And by this time, the last glimmers of the sun are starting to go down. Someone cut the grass recently, and you can certainly tell that fresh smell of grass. Nobody is here right now, which fair. The sun is going down. It's starting to get a little bit colder, and you're pretty sure the park closed like an hour ago. Is that something that stops you?
I think I would send another text to be like, "Hey, the park's closed. Are you somewhere on the outside?"
I'm over by the baseball diamonds.
Which is inside the park. Is there like a big fence or something surrounding the park, or is it just like
Nope. The only reason you can tell it's closed is because the bar that closes off the parking lot is closed.
okay? Then yeah, I think she's practically invisible when it's night out. So I think I think she would. Uh,
Black hair, black clothing. That'll do it.
I think she starts heading over.
Yeah. You get to the baseball diamonds, all the lights are off. You start looking around,
That's kind of creepy. Baseball diamond with the lights off. Very creepy. Not a good look.
no one's there.
Yeah,
Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
like for me personally, for Alice, it is baseball diamonds are have been a part of my life for a long time. Yeah, that's real creepy. Even like most parks nearby leave like at least some lights on. There's no lights on.
Nope. The closest
Okay.
you can get to any kind of light is the half moon.
If I'm near the edge of it, is this diamond? Is it like fenced off? Like I have to go over to an entrance?
Yes, there's a fence.
Okay. So then Des is gonna stop near the fence. I would say not in the light, but clearly that's not an issue. And she's gonna text Hazel again, and be like, "Hey, I'm here, but I don't see you."
There's no response.
I think I would wait a few minutes in the shadows, and if I still didn't see anyone, I think I would text her again and be like, "Do you need help?"
There's no response. But somewhere under one of the stands, you think you see movement. It's hard to tell what, especially with yeah, the moonlight being the way it is.
Okay, so she's gonna turn the brightness way down on her phone so it's not really like illuminating her, and gonna switch over to the actual like phone app and dial but not call 911, ACAB and all that, but she's a young teen. Um, with 911 ready to go, she starts slowly walking towards where she saw the movement.
All right. And you climb down under the bleachers.
Hmm.
It's the light's even worse down here. What little moonlight gets down is casting weird bands of shadows. So it's only when one of those bands of shadows moves that you realize that there is actually something down here.
I think I would actually take a couple steps back, call out for Hazel. Like, is that you, Hazel?
Can you make me a perception check? Do you have any skills relating to perception?
No, not that I can see. Would this be investigate then?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think she would have any investigate related skills.
All right, so make me that flat roll.
That is a 7.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but when that shadow moves again, you realize it's long.
Mm.
It's longer than a person should be, so it's clearly not someone standing up. And it reaches out, and one end plants itself on the ground and it bends almost like an elbow as it pulls itself toward you.
Great. This would be the time when I hit dial on my phone to call 911.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm in the park. I assume I would give them the actual name of the park. There's some kind of uh wild animal on under the bleachers at one of the baseball diamonds. I think I need a little help.
Are you safe?
Is the thing like reaching towards me?
Oh, absolutely. It is as you are having this conversation, you see another long dart shape reach out toward you. And it is also moving in that same way of like someone pulling themselves forward on their arms.
Okay, is there a direction I can take off that in, I'm not getting closer to these things?
You can try to climb out between the bleachers the same way that you came. It's slow and in the way, but you can certainly try.
Okay, yeah, I definitely think she's trying to get out of there. She's only super dark on the outside. This is absolutely getting to her. So I think she's gonna try to get out from here, all while shouting like, "No, no, I don't think I'm safe."
All right, I need you to make me a skill check. Do you have any skills that relate to clambering, climbing, squeezing through narrow spaces, anything like that?
No, most of my skills are going to be purely for like helping people. I don't think there's anything that is specifically going to help her escape.
All right, I guess that's another flat roll.
That's another 7.
Well, you're able to get out ahead of it at least. You get out you're standing on the bleachers, climbing out, and you see this thing start to emerge behind you as you run. And in clearer moonlight, you see what is unmistakably a long, lanky arm reach out from between the bleachers. It is clawed and it is easily 2 yards long. And it reaches down onto the bleachers, and as its grip tightens to pull, you can see the bleachers start to bend under its grip as it begins to climb out. And you see a larger shape dent up against the underside of one of the bleachers where something larger is beginning to try to push its way out. And the person on the other end of the phone, all right, I need you to stay calm and try to find a place to hide. Okay?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna look around. I'll see if I can find somewhere to hide.
There's the dugouts. There's another set of bleachers. There's a tower overlooking the whole thing. There's a couple of places that might be used as confection stands. There's the gate that you came in through.
Oh boy. Um.
Of course, there's the diamond itself, but there's not really any cover there.
You're talking like a little announcer's box is the little tower.
Yes.
Boy howdy, I don't like this. Yeah, I think she would try to bolt for the little announcer's box.
All right. So here's where the mixed success part of that 7 comes
Okay.
in. Because getting out of there slowed you down just enough. Kris, you and Jesse can hear a sound of rending metal as you get to the park. It sounds like it's coming from one of the baseball diamonds.
Without any hesitation whatsoever, she looks to Jesse and says, "Call 911," and she sprints towards that sound.
Yeah, Jesse looks a little bit more worried and immediately gets the phone out and starts dialing, but stays there. You're running toward the baseball diamond. You get to the gate just in time to see this shape out of a nightmare. It is like someone took ink and painted some strange mockery of a human body several times the size that it should be. And it is reaching out from where it has just emerged from some of the bleachers, and its hands wrap around this girl dressed all in black. It's actually a bit hard to pick her out in the darkness, but its hands wrap around her face and her legs and pull her off her feet, and then this thing stands up. It is easily 12 feet tall. Its arms dangle longer than they should. Its legs bend in 3 different directions as it stands and begins loping off toward a uh, a nearby shopping center.
Ah, shit, shit, shit. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. There's this split second where Kris just like takes stock of everything around her. The open field, the dugouts, the bleachers, and oh, that's going to be a repair job. And then that split second is gone, and she is taking off after it via one of the dugouts in hopes that there's a spare baseball bat that she can pick up. Those boys are very, very good at leaving their stuff around.
Yeah, there is actually. Somebody seems to have forgotten an aluminum baseball bat.
If there happens to be a ball or two, she'll pick those up as well.
Yeah, I think there's some balls there as well. You're so
Cool.
busy grabbing this, we as the audience see a phone on the ground dialed 911 and the operator asking, "Hello? Are you there?" And we see Kris running off after this thing. And I think that's a good place for us to wrap up part 1 of our introductory episode. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.